Welcome back to the channel, guys. Just bought this storage unit for only $20. It was a 7x10. It was pretty full, and you won't believe this. And check out the listing picture here. Right in front, huge gun case, rifle, and a pistol. I know that the case is empty, and the storage facility actually admitted that they opened it up to confirm there were no guns in it. But for 20 bucks, this case sells for 160 bucks at Harbor Freight. I only got 80 bucks for it, but that's still 4 times the profit with one item. There was a bunch of kid stuff, playground equipment, and lots of good clothes. Little violin. It was kind of beat up, but it was still worth a little bit of money. Clothes are definitely not my favorite, but when they're vacuum sealed like this, it definitely makes things a lot easier. Here are the military backpacks. This first one, I was pretty shocked. I sold it for over $500 already. It was some specialty military one. Lots of goodies inside. Lots of good survival gear inside. A really nice scope. This is the kind of stuff you want to see when you're opening up these military backpacks. At first I thought this was some military issued helmet, but there was no brand or barcode or any kind of identification on it, so it was probably a replica airsoft kind of helmet. Did sell for 300 bucks though, so can't go wrong with that. If it was authentic, they go for over $1,000. Handful of other military backpacks. These all sold between like 30 and 50 bucks, so not as nice as the first one. And they were just full of more survival gear. And then a couple boxes of shotgun shells. I only found shotgun shells in the unit. There were no other caliber rounds. Lots of small survival things, some knickknacks. Here's your generic kitchen stuff. There was a Ninja blender and a really nice juicer. I at first thought this white thing was a computer, but actually it just holds a bunch of rice, which I've never seen that before. Another box of kitchen stuff, some kid plates, Tupperware, some Asian utensils. Now, while these aren't the best boxes, they can get 10, 20 bucks worth of stuff out of here, or you can just donate the stuff to Goodwill for free. Beats throwing things away. This was some acrylic nail machine. And then there's a really nice Canon digital camera with a second lens. This item already sold pretty quickly. And then there were lots of clothes. But thankfully, it was a smoke-free, pet-free unit, so they didn't smell. And they were pretty nice brands. There were a lot of North Faces, Carhartts, Patagonia. Stuff that's good enough to list on eBay. Or maybe $5-10 bucks at a yard sale. Now, you saw all those trash bags in the unit to begin with. Turns out they were full of Squishmallows and kid toys. Which aren't the end of the world. They were in pretty good shape, so definitely sellable. But there are instances where stuffed animals are donations slash throwaway kind of stuff, but in this case they weren't. Here's a nice North Face jacket. And a Nike jacket. It's always awesome when you find actual money in a unit. I didn't get it on camera, but I did find a couple of gift cards and more spare change. And there was probably $25 just in gift cards and change. So the $20 I paid for the unit, I pretty much got everything for free with those gift cards. Another big bag of Squishmallows. A couple of them had scuffs and marks on them, but the vast majority of them were pretty clean and reusable. I didn't get a good video of it, but here's a playground set for a kid. Should get about $100 for that. And then a little Tykes in a Flintstone ice cream truck. That was pretty cool. And all this stuff was just $20. I can't believe how cheap this one went for. And it's kind of shocking. It seems like the less I spend on a unit, the better I do. Now, this was on a different website. It wasn't Storage Treasures, so maybe it just didn't have the foot traffic as Storage Treasures would. Nice Nalgene bottle. I was excited to keep this for myself, and as I was making this video, I realized I can't find it anymore. So it probably went into the Goodwill pile. I think these glasses were crystal. I still have to verify that, though. More kitchen stuff. Lots of the stuff was well packed in bubble wrap, so that's always nice. But most of the kitchen stuff just going to go to Goodwill. Here's some kid toys. They were really into dinosaurs. There must have been 300 different dinosaurs in the unit. And we sold them all within a day. People on Facebook really liked them. Probably ended up making like $100 on all of them. We probably could have got more money, but they're big and bulky, and sometimes it's nice just to get rid of stuff quick. Another huge big box of kid stuff, construction toys, a little Melissa and Doug piano that the kids will annoy their parents with. Again, I didn't do a good job at filming this one. There were Yeti water bottles, Starbucks tumblers, and nice hydro flasks. Another little jar of money, couple coins. And there were a ton of kid clothes. And of all the clothes to get, kid ones are the best to sell, because usually adults are pretty picky for their own stuff, but when they're buying them for their kids, they'll take pretty much anything. So even $1 or $2 a shirt, there was a bunch of money just in clothing alone. This kid carrier was almost brand new. Retails for over $100. A handful of the trash bags were just kind of filled with knick-knack kind of junk stuff. Unfortunately, none of the purses or bags had any money inside of them. Here's that gun case again. It sells for $160 at Harbor Freight, which is kind of surprising. I didn't know Harbor Freight sold gun cases. A lot of the clothes are brand new with tags, so that's always nice. You always got to check these duffel bags pretty good because you never know what people hide in the bottom. And thankfully, this person was the same size as me, so I can wear a lot of these clothes myself. I can't remember the last time I went to the store to buy pretty much anything. It seems like all my belongings now come from storage units. Suitcase full of kid clothes. Even some of the kid clothes were nice brands like North Face or Carhartt. This white fanny pack right here was actually a Lululemon brand. And of course, you can't have enough T-Rexes. Miscellaneous kitchen stuff. Not worth anything, but, prevents you from buying Ziploc bags and paper towels. It saves you money. Really huge DeWalt chest. Sells for over $100 at Home Depot. Lots of military camouflage. There are probably like 10 different varieties of the camouflage. There's some desert, woodland. Kind of a miscellaneous box. Personally, I wouldn't store your rat poison with your kid clothes, but these people decided to. Kids really enjoy these little puzzles. And lots of kid books and Mickey Mouse stuff. There's this really old Fisher & Price barn with silo that I'm holding here. I'm not sure why they had this thing in there, but it's pretty vintage. Little egg matching set. Tons of Play-Doh, squishers, kitchen stuff. I wasn't exaggerating when I said there were lots of dinosaurs. It seems like every kid box had them in it. I'm still looking for my Cutco knife set. These ones were just cuisine art. A really cool Lilo and Stitch backpack. This one was made of leather, so it was a pretty nice quality one. Kid clothes sell pretty well, as I said, but kid winter clothes and snowsuits sell even better. Couple ugly sweaters too. And here's more dinosaurs. Not complaining. I mean, for 20 bucks, you really can't go wrong with this unit. I had 0 dump fees with this unit, so that's always a plus. A gigantic box of kid books. And I got excited when I was unloading this unit. I noticed a lot of Duplo boxes and toys, so I was kind of hopeful there would be Legos. Turns out there weren't, but Duplo sell pretty well as well. And they had a couple of complete sets, thankfully. 2 of them were Jurassic World themed. Small little tote of jewelry. All this stuff was just costume jewelry. There wasn't really anything worth much in here. Both the watches in the unit weren't working, but even this one for parts seemed to be pretty valuable. A giant tote of just bags, which isn't the end of the world. Christmas is coming up, so it's easy to just pack stuff into these bags as presents. They were Buffalo Bill fans, and the clothes were in really good condition. Nice little chest piece here. There wasn't a spot for plates, so it wasn't that expensive. And then more of their camouflage stuff. And either he collected this stuff or had a lot of tour of duties, because he had old camouflage, new camouflage. Dixon hats. Really nice pair of Carhartt overalls. And I don't know what it is about Carhartt, but I had these listed on eBay for 70 bucks plus shipping, and probably got 5 different offers for like 15 or 20 bucks. And I don't know why Carhartt buyers are such lowballers, but they ended up selling for like $50. There was a graveyard of iPads. 3 of them were completely broke. 1 of them would turn on but not go anywhere. But even for parts, Apple products still have some value. Another tote of kid toys. What's crazy is these vintage shoes had the price tag with them, and somebody paid $17 for them in 1987. And I don't know how much inflation is back then, but that's got to be like 500 bucks today. There was this big portable massage table and a big massage chair. Here's even more stuffies. And then this is one of the surprises of the unit. I didn't expect there to be an axe inside this box since it's so big. They must have had like 5 inches of foam all the way around this thing. But it looked like a custom made handle. Sold pretty quick though, so I was happy with it. Didn't use that box though to ship it in. This must have been when they first were packing up. Everything was nice and organized in bags, and it kind of devolved after there. I don't know where these cookie jars come from, but every storage unit has them, and they're filled with always the most random stuff. Never do you actually find cookies. Not that many shoes in the unit, but these ones were actually pretty valuable, running ones, even in this condition. They sold pretty quick on eBay. Lots of purses, but everyone knows purses don't sell for much. The kid backpack's probably going to be the most valuable thing in this box. More random cookie jars with not cookies inside of them. Magnet tiles sell really well. They go for almost $1 a piece. A lot of Melissa and Doug toys. Wood building set. This probably isn't going to be my best unit percentage-wise, but easily top 3. And that's going to wrap up this video, guys. Again, it was a great unit for 20 bucks. If I get to close to $2,000, that's 100 times profit. So thanks for watching. Please check out some of the other videos I got and come back soon. Thanks.